cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial, or sexist comments or intimidating actions directed at coaches, players, officials, or any other team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal. Also, the consumption or possession of alcoholic beverages and tobacco is strictly prohibited. Failure to adhere to these policies may result in immediate dismissal. President Dana and the Southern Virginia University staff, thank you for your support of the student athletes and coaches participating in today's contest. Please stay away from the playing area and team bench areas. Thank you for your cooperation, and go Knights! In accordance with tradition at Southern Virginia University, we will begin with the word of prayer, which will be offered by the Director of Admissions, Craig Lund.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for this opportunity we have to gather together for this great sporting event. Opportunity for these two teams to play at the best of their ability. Thankful to have Marymount University here visiting us here. We ask you to bless each and every one of these athletes, that they'll be able to play well and without any injury. And we're thankful for all the many blessings God's given us, and we ask these things humbly in the name of God's Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Now, if you will all please rise and face the flag for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you. You're welcome. Now for tonight's starting lineup, starting for the Saints of Marymount. A freshman outside hitter, number 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the barn of Southern Virginia for tonight's NCAA Division III men's volleyball matchup between the Saints of Marymount University and your Southern Virginia University Knights. I'm Dawson Weaver, joined by my good friend Marion Gowdy, as we have a matchup of 2 top 15 teams in the nation in Division III in the ABCA men's coaches poll, with Marymount ranking 12th and Southern Virginia ranking 10th. So, I mean, for a home game, this is everything you want. High-octane matchup, high-ranking teams. It's great to have you here for it, Marion.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. It should be a great game.
Absolutely. And both these teams coming off of, or I guess schools coming off of spring break. You and I were talking just beforehand how both these teams have had a little bit of a break between games. Southern Virginia hasn't played in 10 days, and Marymount hasn't played in 6. So the question going into this is, which of two things is going to happen? Are you going to come in here well-rested, energized, and ready to go? Or are you going to come in here a little out of practice, a little rusty, and a little sloppy?
Are they going to have spring break brain, or are they going to be like really into it right from the beginning? So we'll see.
Absolutely. And so starters for both teams. Southern Virginia announcing right now. Number 1, Christo Bianchi. Number 4, Jeremy Brown. Number 6, Justin Matson. Number 7, McKay Walker. Great to see him in the rotation now. He had struggled with injuries early in the year. Number 10, Tyler Schaefer. Number 11, Christian Schaefer. And number 15, Jayton Hall. And then for Marymount, they had number 1, Esteban Harigi. Number 5, Diego Pena. Number 10, Devin Robinson. Number 16, Luke Morris. Number 20, Grayson Andrews. Number 24, Hayden Kurikis. And number 30, Will Wright. And these two teams, not only do they share the fact that they're in the top 15, but earlier this month, in back-to-back days, they defeated the same top 15 team in UC Santa Cruz, who is then ranked number 13 in the nation. And so again, similar opponents, they have a similar win-loss record, they're in a similar ranking in the national rankings. So again, as far as having a game here in the barn, you really can't ask for much better if you're a fan of men's volleyball. But again, I mentioned the fact that McKay Walker back in the lineup for Southern Virginia, the middle blocker standing at 6'8" from El Cajon, California. He was a huge contributor to Southern Virginia's men's program last season, in the past couple of years actually. But the fact they have him back, he still has a brace on his left hand, so we'll see how much that affects his game. But just having him back in the lineup, being one of the few seniors in this roster, is huge.
Yeah, I was here for, I believe it was their last game at home. And he was in, I think it was the first game after injury, coming back to play. And he was a great contributor. It might have taken him a few plays to get back into it, but he did get back into it, and he was a great asset on the court.
Absolutely, and I'm sure a great asset on the bench as well. You know, having that senior leadership, there's just a sort of gravitas that comes with that. You know, players start to buy in a little bit more. You hear that both huddles really getting into it right now. Both very, very excited. Again, spring break, the first game afterwards, you're like, I'm ready to get back out there. I'm ready, energized, and ready to go. But honestly, I would expect to see some service errors to start out with. I would expect to see some sloppy approaches, sloppy attacks. But hopefully I'm proven wrong. Of course, both these teams very well coached, very good cultures. They're both ranked in the top 15 for a reason. So even if both teams start out pretty slow or sloppy, you can imagine they'll correct that very quickly. And if not, the coaches will make sure that it's corrected very quickly.
Yeah, I don't think you get to top 15 without not only the talent and the skill, but also the mental and the culture in a team of winning and working together and coming back from being behind.
Absolutely, and lo and behold, we talk about service errors. That one right there from number 16, Luke Morris. So Southern Virginia takes a quick 1-0 lead in this first set. Number 30, Will Wright, the libero, will come on the floor for Marymount. Now back to serve for Southern Virginia is number 15, Jayton Hall. And that's going to go down for number 10. That is Devin Robinson. A solid attack there. Got the first pass exactly where they wanted it to go. That makes kill number 190 on the year for Devin Robinson. He's the leader in that category. Trying to use McKay Walker, but it goes out of bounds. Gives the Saints a 2-1 lead. Now back to service number 20, Grayson Andrews, the senior from Colonial Heights, Virginia. Here's Schaefer to Walker once again. Blocked by number 24, Hayden Kurikis. It was such a good block. McKay Walker went back and said that was solid.
You have to respect good volleyball, anywhere it comes from.
Absolutely. Here's Brown. There he goes. I talk about this all the time in these broadcasts, but every time Jeremy Brown goes up to the sky for those hits, it seems like he's never going to come down. Now Brown to serve. Matson. And reaching underneath, trying to save the play, was number 5, Diego Pena. Ties up at 3 points apiece.
I'm pretty sure if he doesn't touch the net, but he's outside the antenna and get the ball back over outside the antenna, and they had a third touch. I know there was a lot of ifs there, but they still could have played it.
Right.
So I think that's why he still went for it, if that seems silly to anybody else.
Like you said, there was a lot of things going on in that play that you had to correct. But now back to service number 10, Devin Robinson.
Very nice serve receive from Christian.
Matson able to keep it alive after the tip from Walker. Off the hand of Schaefer. Great work at the net by the Knights. Schaefer to Brown from the back row. Goes off the shoulder of Will Wright for another kill. We have an injury, though. Same player on the floor. I believe it's number 1, Esteban Arhegi, excuse me. Looks like he came down near the net. Got the trainer as well as Marymount head coach Dan Liberto in his 6th year. Comes to the floor. I've had conversations with the head coach Dan Liberto in the past, and you just watching him in warm-ups, he's just a very fun guy interacting with both sides of the court, both teams. Really intelligent coach. And Esteban Jaregi, one of the leaders on the team in kills. He's 100 on the year. So he's a very valuable asset to this Saints program. He's also one of the leaders in digs with 49. Trying to figure out a lower body injury, as right now the score stands 4-4. Getting helped up. Able to stand up under his own power. That's always great to see. It's always kind of scary around the net because, again, there's just a lot of bodies there and, more importantly, a lot of feet that you have to watch out for.
Which is why we have the rules in place, so you can't be under the net or be touching the net. So hopefully that keeps everybody a little bit safer because you're really cautious about crossing that line. But it's not injury-proof, obviously.
Absolutely. And checking in for Jaregi is number 11, Nicholas Blos. And back to serve for Southern Virginia is number 7, McKay Walker. The score is tied 4-4 in the first set. Down ref just making sure the score is accurate. By the way, the refs today are Wade Brentz and Steven Shepard. And now serving is McKay Walker. That was number 5, Diego Pena.
I think he was trying to keep it on his side, but didn't end up working out the way he wanted.
It definitely landed in that iffy spot right above the net, which can tend to lead to a lot of errors. Fantastic hit there from Diego Pena. Even though there were 2 Knight defenders in the back row, essentially where they needed to be, had enough oomph on it to just went through their arms.
Yeah, that was a rocket. That was awesome.
Number 24, Hayden Kurikis, back to serve. Schaefer to Schaefer. Bianchi keeping it alive, but put right back down by number 28, Mason Moore, the junior from Los Angeles, California. Kurikis back to serve once again. Schaefer to Bianchi. Bianchi able to get it down. Ties it back up at 6. Coming in for the Southern Virginia Knights, number 18, Kyler Evans, the 6'8" opposite from Gilbert, Arizona. Blocked by Bianchi and Schaefer. It's going to count as a double for Marymount, so Southern Virginia will take back the lead. I'd like to serve as number 10, Tyler Schaefer. The other half of the Schaefer duo on Southern Virginia's roster. That'll go down for number 10, Devin Robinson. Now back to serve for the Saints, number 5, Diego Pena. And you talk about Tyler Schaefer, leader of the team in kills, going into this game on the year, 472 assists. Grayson Andrews from Marymount is close to that with 417 to his name. And Kyler Evans doing what he does best. I feel like in every game where he's substituted in, he almost makes an immediate impact.
Yeah, that was awesome. He knew where those blockers were, and he put the ball right outside their reach. He knew exactly where those blockers were. That was awesome.
Now number 11, Christian Schaefer, the 6'6" sophomore from Palmyra, Pennsylvania, skims the top of the net. Brown keeps it alive. Back row for Schaefer. The call net, I believe number 20, Grayson Andrews, got into the net. So now the Knights take a 9-7 lead.
I think the Saints coach is bringing up the fact that the line judge called it out on the antenna over there. But the up ref and down ref are saying that they didn't see that, so.
Matson getting up in the air and keeping it up and put right back down by Grayson Andrews. I think you just listen very carefully, you hear the tune of Happy Birthday, and those basically served right up to him. Perfect positioning.
Every volleyball player wants that opportunity.
Absolutely. Now number 11, Nicholas Blos. The service error gives it right back to the Knights.
Checking in for the Saints, number 7, Joshua Furman.
Substitution for Marymount, number 7, Joshua Furman. And back in for Southern Virginia is McKay Walker, with Cristo Bianchine back to serve. Nice float serve from Bianchine. Beautiful effort from Bianchine as well to keep it alive, and Brown flying up, getting it right between the back row defenders.
I think earlier you were saying you don't think he's ever going to come down. I mean, I think that ball went over the blocker's fingers. So he was obviously very high to get that one.
There's Bianchine again. Fantastic kill for Devin Robinson. Despite the fact that the play looked a little ugly for Marymount from the start, the first pass made it so that the setter had to really sprint for it. Don't tend to get the cleanest looks out of that situation. But now back to service number 16, Luke Morris. That serve just outside. And I mean just, that was maybe an inch or two away from being on the line. Now substituted in to serve as number 15, Jayton Hall, the 6'5" sophomore from Quinn Creek, Arizona. The Knights now have a 3-point lead here in the first set. That serve just a little short from Hall.
Back to serve for Marymount, number 20, Grayson Andrews.
Now number 20, Grayson Andrews, the senior setter from Colonial Heights, Virginia, back to serve. Here's Hall from the back row. That goes down for Hall. He came into this game with 84 kills to his name on the season. Now back to serve for the Knights is number 4, Jeremy Brown. Somehow keeping that alive was Hayden Kurikis. Mistimed set right there, intended for number 24, Hayden Kurikis. Goes down to the point for the Knights.
I mean, that wasn't the normal volleyball you see from the top 15 teams. I mean, they both had to be pretty scrappy, but once again, you don't get to be top 15 just because you make awesome plays. You have to be creative, you have to work together, you have to have that culture of no matter what, we keep this ball up, we get it over the net, and we do our best and keep each other going.
Right, absolutely. In order to be a top team in the nation, you have to play both pretty and scrappy and ugly all at the same time and still make it work. Now back to serve is number 10, Devin Robinson. Great setup here. The Schaefer special strikes again. That's probably the cleanest look we've seen from either team so far today.
McKay Walker back to serve.
Now back to serve, number 7, McKay Walker. Christian Schaefer, diving effort there from Andrews. And right there to stop it was Tyler Schaefer. And a timeout called by Marymount University as the Knights have a 5-point lead here in the first set. So again, both teams showing exactly why they're ranked as high as they are. Both teams having fantastic work, both setting up their attacks. Great work at the net. We saw a lot more urgency at the net from Marymount at the beginning of this set. It's kind of faded away a little bit in favor of Southern Virginia. But again, this is exactly what I expected to see. A little bit of sloppiness here and there, but both teams still able to produce some solid volleyball so far.
And we were talking earlier about, are they going to come out sloppy? Not sloppy, but just spring break-ish. Or are they going to come out rested and really into it? And I really think, I mean, there might have been that service error and one mistake there, but I think both of them were here to play today, which is making great for a great game. Great game.
Absolutely. I mean, both teams know exactly what's at stake. You know, you have two teams that are high in the rankings. You want to make sure you maintain your status as a high-ranking team, and you're both trying to make sure that you can set yourself up in a situation where you get into conference tournament play, you're feeling confident, you got a good enough record to get a good seeding in that tournament. Then, of course, obviously you don't want to look too far forward, but you're also thinking of the national tournament as well and showing what you can do against a team that more than likely is going to be there. So I guess it's a good sort of gauge game to figure out where you are and what you need to do in order to play with, for lack of a better term, the big boys. Back to serve once again is McKay Walker. Great effort there from Hall. From the back row is coming in Brown. That hits the antenna, so a point. A little confusion here from the up ref. I think he heard something he didn't quite like from the Marymount bench. The Knights extend their lead to 6. Uncharacteristic error there from Devin Robinson. He was fallen down. I believe he sort of slipped on the way down. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the first service ace for either team so far today. Getting that one to fall as Kurikis really splits the defenders. And now Kurikis is back to serve. Here's Bianchi. Gets the pin to fall. The pin is one of those plays that it's probably my favorite play in all of volleyball. If you can actually get it to where you're planning it out right, you got the great timing, it's incredibly difficult to stop. Blocked straight down by Bianchi, and Evans. Score now reaches 20-12. Schaefer to Bianchi. Bianchi going across his body for that one.
He saw that blocker coming up and he knew he had to go around, but it was a quicker set, so that blocker was already thrown off a little bit since it was a quicker set than normal.
Got a substitution here for Marymount and number 25, Luke Progue, with Tyler Schaefer back to serve. Madsen to Evans. Put straight back by Krogh, as well as number 11, Nicholas Blos.
Pena back to serve.
So now back to serve is number 5, Diego Pena. Bianchi somehow able to get a hand on that one. Here's Evans. And that's going to go out. Another point for Southern Virginia.
It's a good thing you got a lot of power on that, because that bounced off the blocker's hands all the way across and out of the court.
Absolutely. That was good positioning right there for Marymount, just not able to keep it in just due to the power, like you said. But you just heard Southern Virginia's bench, for those at home, may have heard it. They were chanting serve, receive, serve, receive. Maybe think of, speaking of serve, receive errors, right? That's only the second of the game for either side, both belonging to Marymount. Of course, that one bounces off the head of number 10, Devin Robinson. He's just shaking that one off.
Yeah, that one doesn't feel good.
Definitely does not, as number 11, Christian Schaefer, is up to serve. Knights 2 points away from set victory. That serve sailing out. That ties up both squads at 3 service errors apiece. Substitution for the Saints in number 12, Sava Topic. That serve right into the net. So set point for Southern Virginia.
Set point coming up for SVU.
Come back onto the floor for the Saints is number 7, Joshua Furman.
Checking in for the Saints, number 7, Joshua Furman.
Here's Bianchi. Touched by Evans, but it goes out. Keeps this first set going. And substitution for Marymount, number 16, Luke Morris, and he will serve. Here's Schaefer. The Schaefer special closes out the set by a score of 25-15. As both teams will switch sides. So again, that first set pretty much had everything we expected to see. We mentioned the sloppiness, but there wasn't a whole lot of it, honestly. A lot of clean volleyball played. I mentioned the service errors, only a total of 7 combined for both teams, which is pretty solid. Then you have reception errors, a total of 2 overall, which again, I'll use the word solid to describe that. But Southern Virginia right now, making a lot of the defensive plays they need. Of course, both teams with 1 block solo, but Southern Virginia leading in the digs category 12-5, doing a great job of really responding and setting up attacks, responding to Marymount's attacks, and 13 assists with that as well. And then Southern Virginia with 13 kills compared to 8. So just a couple things going right for Southern Virginia. But again, wouldn't be surprised at all with a well-coached team like Marymount is to see a roaring resurgence in the second set.
Yeah, you can see the passion and the camaraderie this Marymount team really has. I mean, you can tell that they know how to play together. They know how to build each other back up after something goes wrong. I mean, these are both great teams, both the Saints and the Knights. So I'm happy to be here with some great volleyball.
Absolutely. So let's go over some statistical leaders in the kills category. Leading the way for the Saints, Devin Robinson, no surprise, with 4 kills to his name. Diego Pena with 2, Grayson Andrews with 1, and Hayden Currykiss with 1. Then for Southern Virginia, the top 4 all have 3 kills apiece, and that is Jeremy Brown, Jayton Hall, Cristo Bianchi, and Christian Schaefer. So a lot of great things happening there. Tyler Schaefer with 12 assists so far, Grayson Andrews with 7. Service aces are few and far between, but both that have happened today have been for Southern Virginia, 1 for McKay Walker and 1 for Christian Schaefer. Jeremy Brown leading both teams in digs with 3 total. He's actually tied with Jayton Hall and Justin Madsen. Again, no surprise there. Both those players are really fantastic on the back row. But again, like you said, Marion, just fantastic volleyball being played right now here at the barn of Southern Virginia. But speaking of which, you're watching this game on Knights Broadcasting here on YouTube. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, comment down below, let us know how we're doing, and be sure to click that notification bell. That way you get notified every single time we go live with Southern Virginia Athletics. Thank you so much for supporting Knights Broadcasting. So again, it's just been fantastic back and forth effort. Again, it was literally point for point at the very beginning. Southern Virginia was really able to pull away. But Marion, in your opinion, what was Southern Virginia able to do differently that made the difference in that first set?
I mean, I feel like, you can look back on like the serve receive and especially the digs. You were talking about the digs. And we had 12 digs. Marymount had 5. That's a huge difference. Right. If you're responding to the attacks with digs, picking them up and being able to let your team play that ball instead of just letting it go to the floor, that's a huge difference in play out there. And we've had really strong serving today, and if serving's going good, usually you're going to do pretty well. Because if you can just get that ball to the other side of the net and let the other team do what they're going to do with it, usually you're in a better spot.
Absolutely. So from what you're saying, Marymount, what they need to do is just lock up a little bit tighter on serve receive and be sure to get in better positioning to set up their own attacks, responding to Southern Virginia's, because again, at that point, it's just a very even game once again. Now back to serve for Southern Virginia is Jayton Hall. The far side. Striking first is number 5, Diego Pena. That sure will help. Now back to serve for the Saints is number 5, Diego Pena, the freshman from Falls Church, Virginia. Schaefer to Walker. Into the net, I believe, is number 28, Mason Moore. Ties it at 1 apiece with Jeremy Brown back to serve.
Yeah, when teams play those quick balls, sometimes it's harder for blockers to really get what they're used to doing. Usually when it's a higher set, you can set yourself up better. You know that your spacing's in the net. But when it's a quick ball, you're just trying to get up and get that ball. So sometimes you can catch the blockers in the net with those quick sets.
Speaking of quick sets, Marymount really able to throw it down there. I believe it was number 28, Mason Moore, once again. The pin was set up for him. He's getting a conversation here with Wade Brentz, the up ref. Just a brief conversation with the up ref. But now the Saints have a 2-1 lead here in the second set. And for those just tuning in, Southern Virginia took the first set of this game. Walker trying to keep it alive. Another point for the Saints.
That's a hard ball to keep alive for anybody.
It really is, especially with number 28, Mason Moore there. I mean, he's really been active so far to start this second set. But again, for those just tuned in, Southern Virginia took the first set 25-15. The service error right there for number 16, Luke Morris. Cristo Bianchi comes in for Southern Virginia. And Joshua Furman comes in for the Saints. Now McKay Walker will serve. Nice low serve from Walker. That's probably the most obvious net violation you will see in all of volleyball, as Christian Schaefer is literally grabbing on to the net. I believe he kind of had lost control as he was jumping for it. I think him and Bianchi were heading in the same direction, so he just grabbed onto it to try to protect himself as well as Bianchi. A little pause in the action for Jeremy Brown to tie his shoes, having a little bit of a laugh with the down ref here, Stephen Shepard. Now back to serve for the Saints is number 4, Joseph Crowder, the junior from Centerville, Virginia. That first pass from Christian Schaefer, a little too far. Goes right back down for the Saints. And kind of like how we said, Marion, so far Marymount has responded quite well in these first couple of points. That serve from Crowder just a little low. He tried to put a little bit of topspin on it, but Lee didn't quite make the amount of contact that he was hoping for.
Checking in for the Knights, number 18, Kyler Evans.
Kyler Evans checking back in for Southern Virginia with number 10, Tyler Schaefer, back to serve. Just correcting some things here at the scores table. Diving effort there from number 7, Joshua Furman. Not quite sure if he saw his teammate, Will Wright, who was right next to him. So it'll sail out a point for Southern Virginia.
I think they're calling a foot fault on the server where their foot crosses the line when they're serving. And so you have to stay off the court the whole time you're serving. And after you hit the ball, then you can come back on the court.
I believe you're right, as the Saints now take a 2-point lead. Here's Brown. Off the hands of number 20, Grayson Andrews. And I believe that assist came from Evans that time. One of the few times the assist doesn't come from Tyler Schaefer. Now Christian Schaefer back to serve. Brown keeping it up. Bianchine gets the freebie, and I believe that bounces off the foot of number 10, Devin Robinson, and flies out of bounds. So tied back up at 6 apiece. Beautiful set to Curry Kiss. Even had 2 Knight defenders right there at the net, and even then they weren't ready for how quick that set was. Back to serve is number 10, Devin Robinson. Schaefer to Brown. Robinson, and Andrews able to get it back over. Miscommunication there. Point falls for the Saints.
I have to commend the Saints right now. They are doing a pretty good job of playing off the barn ceiling. I don't think the barn, I mean, it's thrown them off a little bit, but they've always been able to recover it off the ceiling. This is a much lower ceiling than most places, most gyms that play volleyball in, so they're doing a very good job of adjusting to that.
Indeed, and you mentioned that many teams that travel here who maybe don't play here regularly, that's something they really have a hard time with, and it really throws off their game a lot of times. But again, with Marymount being as disciplined as they are, they kind of understand, hey, got to make sure we play off of that, understand that things have really changed on the play. That serve from Bianchi sails out. Now Curry is back to serve for the Saints as Justin Madsen makes his way back into the floor for Southern Virginia. A lot of power behind it, but sails a little too far.
Jason Hall checks back in. Hall back to serve.
Jayton Hall back to serve for Southern Virginia. Jayton Hall still sitting at 3 kills so far on the evening. Solid kill that time from number 16, Luke Morris.
With that middle hitter coming up in the middle and then the outside coming up, I think it threw off our blockers a little bit. I think McKay might have gone up with that middle blocker when the ball was really going to the outside. So we only had one blocker covering that hit, so it was able to get around.
Indeed, utilizing the the speed of that play to their advantage. Back row, Christian Schaefer off the hand of Devin Robinson. Brings it back within a 1-point game. And although attendance here in the barn tonight, because of spring break, isn't necessarily as high as it can be, still a lot of crowd noise being generated for both sides. I mean, we have plenty of, Marymount fans here, even some in face paint. So a lot of energy here in this game, and Brown rising up for it. I believe it ended up dropping a little lower than he expected. So yeah, Marymount fans really showing that men's volleyball is a big deal to them. You love to see it. Great dig that time from Morris. The ceiling throwing off the Knights that time.
That's one of those situations where you wonder if the setter should have just yelled for help, because it looked like Madsen could have gotten that pretty easily. But sometimes as a setter, it's hard to turn that off, and you just go for every ball you can, which I love to see in a setter, to make that effort towards every ball you can go to. So
great effort to get underneath at that time by Wright. The Schaefer special strikes again.
Those long arms, he just reaches right over those blockers.
Indeed, he did. Crystal Bianchi substituting in for the Knights with McKay Walker back to serve.
Walker back to serve.
But the Schaefers that time serving that dish up with a little bit of curry sauce. It's a little spicy. That serve from Walker a little short. Makes it a 3-point game once again.
Number 4, Joseph Crowder.
Subbing in to serve as number 4, Joseph Crowder. Hall with the powerful kill. Brings it back within 2 with Kyler Evans being substituted in for Southern Virginia. Here's Tyler Schaefer. Another one of those rare serve-receive errors. Brings it back within 1. Service ace for Schaefer. Ties it up at 13. Timeout for Marymount.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the first time Southern Virginia has caught up to Marymount in this set. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, again, we talked about how Marymount really came out firing in this second set. And it honestly feels like it's just been their set in general. I feel like they made more of the plays they've needed to. They made some more of the highlight plays. They've just really fine-tuned some things that didn't go as well in the first set. But in spite of that, Southern Virginia has still been able to battle back, make the necessary plays to tie everything back up at 13 apiece.
And
again.
I think you can see that the Marymount coach is seeing that this is starting to happen. We're starting to slip or maybe get a little bit casual on things. We need to pull it back in together, play smart, work together. But yeah, Southern Virginia Knights have stayed right there with him the whole time, which you have to if you're going to win the set, right?
Right, absolutely. And like you said, head coach Dan Liberto is thinking to himself, any good coach that realizes that momentum's shifting a little bit, especially in volleyball, timeouts are so essential. In fact, I feel like after observing so many different types of sports throughout my life, I feel like timeouts are more impactful and more momentum shifting in volleyball than any other sport that I've witnessed. So again, you can expect to see Marymount really come out here with the same fire they had at the beginning of this set, try to retake their lead and expand upon it, and see if they can take the second set away from Southern Virginia. But before that, we have Tyler Schaefer up to serve for the Knights. Schaefer again in the way of that attempted kill for Robinson. Schaefer gets that one to drop right in front of Will Wright, who was making a fantastic diving effort to get underneath it. Fell just short.
I mean, you know that Christian Schaefer can really send that ball like a rocket, but he saw where those defenders were sitting, and they were sitting pretty deep. And so he just rolled it right over the blocker and into that. Oh, and they just tried to do it. Oh, and they did. Right back to the net.
They saw the same thing, and Robinson, like you just said, a lot of times the best hitters, they don't have to be the most powerful. They just have to be the smartest. They have to see the openings on the floor, where the defenders are. There's so many split-second calculations being made when you're up in the air.
And sometimes you want to be that consistent, aggressive hitter, but if you can throw them off just every once in a while and just roll the ball every once in a while, just tip it and just throw them off and be a little bit unpredictable, it makes that defense get just a little bit more jittery back there, and you have a better chance of getting that ball down to the floor.
Absolutely, and that goes down for Krista Bianchine as the Knights make it a 15-14 set. Curry Kiss had tipped it on the way up, so that made it 4 hits. It was a great idea, but Curry Kiss and I believe number 20, Grayson Andrews, just weren't necessarily on the same page. Now it's a 2-point lead for Southern Virginia. Really short for Christian Schaefer. Brings it back within 1. Got another substitution for the Saints, number 16, Luke Morris. With number 10, Devin Robinson back to serve. Robinson now leads the Saints with 5 kills, followed closely by Diego Pena with 4. That serve just short.
Side out to the Knights. Checking in for the Knights, number 7, McKay Walker.
As far as service errors is concerned, that makes service error number 9 for Marymount. Number 1, Crystal Bianchine back to serve for the Knights. Another fantastic look with Morris closing the deal. All off a fantastic set from Grayson Andrews. Hayden Curry Kiss back to serve. That serve was very close to dropping in that back left corner, just a little outside. In fact, Curry Kiss thought he had it. Number 15, Jayden Hall to serve for Southern Virginia. They're trying to hold on to a 2-point lead here in the second set. The block for Brown. Fantastic play from Brown. Well, I will say, an impressive play from Grayson Andrews. The ball was right at the net, able to set it sort of backwards behind his head to his teammate. Just Brown was in perfect position.
Yeah, I've noticed I have much more experience with women's volleyball, but with men's volleyball, there's a lot more play happening right over the net than there is in women's volleyball. And it's so interesting to watch because it's a whole different area to play in.
Absolutely.
And you have to be so careful if the ball's totally on your side, if it's on their side, if it's splitting the net. It's a whole another part of the game for the men's volleyball.
It absolutely is, and that ball ends up falling for the Saints. Walker trying to tip that just inside the line. It falls just out. Back to serve number 5, Diego Pena. Off the hand of Tyler Schaefer, but goes out of bounds. It'll go down for Luke Morris. Ties it back up at 19. Starting to hear the crowd come alive here in the barn. Great quick set to McKay Walker. Gives the Knights back the lead. Again, for those watching back home, we may not be able to see it as clearly, but Walker's hand was already back, ready to swing when Tyler Schaefer was touching the ball for the set. That's how much speed and accuracy is required for the plays that they're pulling off here.
And communication and practicing together. I mean, that takes so much practice to just get that timing down for setter and hitter to work together. That shows how much work this team has put in.
Great play from Tyler and Christian Schaefer. The Schaefer special, hot and ready and out of the oven. You saw all the defenders of the net really scrambling back and forth from Marymount. And Southern Virginia noticed this. They caught Marymount going towards the other side, leaving this whole area in front of us wide open. Another service ace for Southern Virginia. That time for Jeremy Brown. Timeout for Marymount.
Once again, you feel that momentum really pulling towards the Knights side, and Marymount is trying to ice that momentum and get it back towards their side and tighten a few things up, because they had the lead up until both had 13 points. And now they're 19-22 Knights. And so, yeah, they need to pull together a little bit right now if they are going to come back from this.
Right, absolutely. We were talking during the last time out how it really felt like it was Marymount's set, even though the Knights had just tied it up. And since then, the Knights have come alive. Again, they're making plenty of plays. You know, Jeremy Brown is continuing to show what he's capable of when it comes to kills. You also, of course, have Christian Schaefer coming in play as well. And Tyler Schaefer, again, we talk about the Schaefers a lot just because, again, they're involved in a lot of scoring plays. But Tyler Schaefer with 21 assists so far tonight. And just continuing to show how capable he is of running this offense, facilitating the plays that he needs to make, whether quick sets, outside sets, or even if he has to chase after the ball, just making things work for Southern Virginia, in spite of the fact that, again, a lot of momentum was with the Saints in this set. Once again, back to serve for Southern Virginia is number 4, Jeremy Brown. A block from McKay Walker. You like the look from Marymount because Luke Morris has really had a fantastic second set. But Walker was right there, and he was licking at the chops ready for that one.
But the blockers did exactly what you wanted them to do. You want them to be together, up really high as they can, and angling their hands into the net or into the court, which is exactly what happened.
Somehow, Schaefer and Walker able to keep that play alive. Morris blocked by Christian Schaefer. That was a one-handed block. I feel like Southern Virginia's bench just all fell down at the same time. My goodness. Set point for the Knights. You see Coach Tom Peterson for Southern Virginia standing there basically saying, let's calm down and play a little bit, in spite of how good of a play that was. And service ace to close out the second set. My goodness.
I mean, with that one-handed block, yes, that celebration I think was very appropriate just because that was so exciting. But when it comes to, you can over-celebrate. So I think the coach and the refs were just kind of looking at each other like, okay, let's rein this in.
But I mean, you can understand the celebration as they scored 5 straight points to end the second set. Again, a set that Marymount felt like they had dead to rights for the majority of it. But again, the blocks they're able to get, the service aces. I mean, my goodness. Fantastic work for Southern Virginia in that second set as they take a 2-0 lead here in the barn at Southern Virginia. During this quick break, I want to give a shout out to our athletic partners, Straws Drinks and Eats here in Buena Vista, Virginia. Whether you're visiting campus, visiting the small town of Buena Vista, or going on a hike in one of our beautiful trails we have in the Blue Ridge Mountains, be sure to go stop by Straws Drinks and Eats. Stop by there the other night. fantastic stuff. My drink of choice, Dr. Pepper with cherry, lime, vanilla, and as well as just a little bit of almond cream, right? You just got to put some cream in there. But anyway, stop by Straws, Drinks, and Eats here today. I make myself thirsty here in the broadcast, Marion. But my goodness, you talk about teams that have the talent and have the ability to pull things off later in the year. When you find yourself down in a back-and-forth set like that one, the response that Southern Virginia had is exactly the kind you'd expect from a team of this caliber and a team coached by Tom Peterson.
I mean, to be behind for half of the set and to really be able to stay with Marymount and then be able to come back and then win the set, that takes a lot of mental endurance,
right,
both as individuals and as a team working together, because you could have gotten down on yourself, started beating either yourself or teammates up for whatever they did here or there, but they stuck with them. They stayed steady. They fixed what they needed to fix, and they came out on top for that set.
They absolutely did. But again, we saw a great response at the beginning of the second set from Marymount. We can expect to see a similar thing in the third set, because there are a lot of times where, as a volleyball team, you're tempted. You're down 2-0. There's that temptation in your mind to, the day is lost. Let's just get through this and then go home. That's not the mentality that's over there on the Saints side. Not in the slightest. You just know that Dan Liberto, head coach for Marymount, is over there saying, hey, look, we're down 2-0, but we've been here before. Both these teams have been in situations where they've been down 2-0 and have stormed back to take the win. So this is not unprecedented territory for either squad.
But I think Marymount, I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with a little bit of hopefully focused fury.
Right.
After those, especially those last 2 points of a one-handed block to a pretty good hit and an ace that went just straight to the floor. So coming off of that, I think they're going to be a little antsy. I don't know. I don't even know the right word right now. A little determined, maybe,
right,
to take this back from the Knights.
Absolutely. So we will see number
3.
Maybe number 7, Joshua Furman, back to serve. Had to wait till he was certain that he was serving. They'll kick things off here in the third set. Slightly mishandled by Schaefer. Here's Brown. Blocked out by number 28, Mason Moore. That was also very close. But for those just tuning in, this is the start of the third set. The Knights have taken the first 2 sets. The first by score 25-15. The second by score 25-19. Over the number 12 ranked Saints of Marymount. Service ace for Jayden Hall. Again, that's a huge difference maker right there. That statistical category of service aces. That makes 8 for Southern Virginia, still 0 for the Saints. There's Walker. And blocked by Moore.
Did I see that correctly? Did he play that off of his head like a soccer player? I think number 7 might have played that first serve receive off of his head, but hey, whatever.
Either his head or his shoulder, really high up. But either way, keeping it alive so that they can eventually get the point. Serving is number 4, Joseph Crowder. That one kind of went into the net there for Jayden Hall. Ties it up at 2 apiece.
That's also a difference between women's volleyball and men's volleyball. They use the back row a lot more, I feel like, in men's volleyball, and really set up their back row and use them as hitters as well a lot more often than women's volleyball does.
Brown rising up, making it look easy. Gives the Knights back the lead, and Brown will be back to serve.
Checking in with the Saints, number 30, Will Light.
Got some substitutions. Brown getting a little too overzealous here. About to serve before the whistle was blown. That gave the up ref a good laugh. It came off the fingertip of Schaefer, but either way, it landed in bounds.
kill. Andrews back to serve.
Back to serve now is number 20, Grayson Andrews. Great block by Kurikis. Brown had gotten the serve receive, then had run up, and then Kurikis blocked it straight back to where Jeremy Brown was. And the Saints take back the lead 4-3. A slightly inaccurate set there from Schaefer. Madsen keeping it alive. Here's Schaefer. Maybe the Knights can finally get a clean setup.
Some great defense on the Knight side, and happy birthday to Tyler Schaefer there.
Rising up and throwing it down, tying it back up at 4 apiece.
It's always fun to see a setter just take it and rocket it down to the floor.
Oh, you know the thing about that the entire time, just waiting like, this is finally my chance. This is my time to do this. Now back to serve as number 7, McKay Walker. Bianchine with the assist from Schaefer.
Great communication on the Knight parts. You saw the setter, I saw him yelling out even as they were watching the ball come over the net, and they knew exactly, everyone knew exactly what to do. They did that quick but slightly past where middles usually hit, and they got it right down.
That'll be a point for Marymount. Substitution for the Saints, number 16, Luke Morris. Morris climbed up in the ranks of leaders and kills for the Saints in the last set. He's a total of 4. With number 10, Devin Robinson, back to serve. And speaking, he shall appear. Luke Morris winning the battle at the net with Tyler Schaefer.
Robinson serves.
The Saints take back the lead. Good receive from Brown from the back row. Good dig that time from Morris. Kill that time for Kurikis. Great battle at the net once again.
I'm impressed with the refs. I was having trouble keeping who had touched that how many times on which side of the net for a second there. So good job, refs.
It makes you really appreciative for refs. I feel like many times they're underappreciated, or fans tend to think that refs are some of the worst parts of the game, but that's just simply not true. There's so much they're keeping track of, so much work being done. It's just impressive to see, like you said. Here's Robinson once again. So it goes off of Kurikis to the ceiling and goes back over. And for the folks back home who don't know, by rule, that counts as a point for the team where it bounces over from the ceiling into.
But if it bounces off the ceiling, comes back to your side,
Right.
You still have to play it.
That was a serve from number 10, Tyler Schaefer. The block by both Evans and Bianchine ties it up at 7. That serve a little strong for Schaefer. Gives the Saints back the lead. Coming back in for the Saints is number 28, Mason Moore. And back to serve is number 24, Hayden Kurikis, the senior from Columbus, Ohio. Brown able to get it back over. A little frustration between Brown and Schaefer, as Brown had flown up from the back row to try to get to it, but Schaefer was in position. Saints now up by 2. That serve was a little short from what they were hoping, and Schaefer had flown up to get to it. And that'll be the first service ace for the Saints. Schaefer gets it to fall in the back corner. Now Christian Schaefer back to serve. Much like in the beginning of the second set, the Knights finding themselves in a back and forth battle where they found themselves down by 2 or 3 points. Call net. I believe they're calling it on number 5, Diego Pena. And Bianchine had risen up and tried to throw it down. So now a 1-point game. Another service ace for the Knights. That's Christian Schaefer's second service ace. Makes 5 total for the Schaefer brothers. We're going to say that number 28, Mason Moore, had gone over top of the net to scoop it back over.
Because I think if the whole ball has crossed the net, you can't bring it back to your side like he did, if that's what happened.
It looked like it may have been close. A little conversation here between the refs.
Which is one reason why the up ref is up where he is, so that he can see things like that.
It looks like the call will stand. The Knights now have the lead 11-10. The serve receive goes out. That was off the hand of number 16, Luke Morris. Timeout called here on the floor as the Knights have a 12-10 lead here in the third and potentially final set in this top 15 matchup of NCAA Division III men's volleyball. Real quick, during this break, I want to remind you you're watching this on Knights Broadcasting here on YouTube. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know how we can improve this viewing presentation of Southern Virginia athletics, and be sure to click that notification bell. That way you get notified every single time we go live with Southern Virginia athletics. We appreciate your support of Knights Broadcasting. So, we'll look at this again. Service aces playing a big part. Knights leading that category easily. 10 service aces to 1 for Marymount. And the Knights have now started to lead in total blocks with 11 compared to 9 for Marymount. Digs, the Knights still leading in that category. Not as big of a gap, though, with 24 compared to 19. So, again, Marymount has really fought back to even out these statistics. But I think the main difference so far in this set is a couple of calls that haven't gone Marymount's way, especially at the net the past couple of plays. But, again, other than that, a very even third set so far. Now back to serve is number 11, Christian Schaefer. Dropping that in is Christian Schaefer. Just beyond the outstretched hand of number 20, Grayson Andrews. That serve from Schaefer, a little too strong. Brings it back within 2.
Back to serve for the Saints, number 5, Diego.
Back to serve for Marymount is number 5, Diego Pena. Diego Pena has 3 kills in today's game. Beautiful block from number 16, Luke Morris. Puts it right back at Kyler Evans. Here's Brown. Dig that time from Christian Schaefer. Bianchine gets it down. Once again, a quick set from Tyler Schaefer to Bianchine. Now Bianchine will be back to serve. Knights now with a 2-point lead here. Again, that's a fall as number 5, Diego Pena, finding the wide open gap in Southern Virginia's defense. Now Luke Morris to serve, the junior from Bethesda, Maryland. That one was also really close.
The players seem very confident about it, though. They're used to reading those balls, and I mean, I got nervous, but the whole team, all the Knights were like, yeah, that's out. No big deal.
I guess they do have a better view of the floor than we do, considering the fact that they're on it. But now number 15, Jayton Hall, back to serve. Then that's a fall as McKay Walker. Before that, though, I want to talk about the play that Devin Robinson just made. Somehow, some way, the pass was way to the outside, and he had run over and somehow got it right back over to Southern Virginia's side. Of course, McKay Walker was right there for the taking.
But yes, that was a very good play by Marymount.
Hall diving. Brown's hit goes into the net. Some more substitutions. Number 4, Joseph Crowder, and number 24, Hayden Kurikis. Phenomenal defense. But Tyler Schaefer with the trickery.
He did that very well. I mean, sometimes it's very obvious when setters are tipping, but I feel like he's done a lot of practice, and he's very good about going up with 2 and then just sneaking it over the net, right into the hole.
Now back to serve for Southern Virginia's number 4, Jeremy Brown. Schaefer special once again. Schaefer special so good it must be Chinese takeout. Walker going up against 2 blockers. Now off the hands of number 5, Diego Pena, hits the antenna. Knights now with a 5-point lead. Got a substitution here from Marymount in number 12, Sava Topic, the senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Serve just out. Brings it back within 4. Now Topic back to serve. That serve going to go down as a point for the Saints, as it was just in. There's a little disagreement between the down ref and the line judge here, but it will go down as a point for Marymount. Here's Hall. Christian Schaefer able to get it to drop just past the net. Make it 20-16. Now back to serve number 7, McKay Walker.
Into the Saints, number 16, Luke Morris.
Brown diving to keep it alive. Dives into the stands. Making sure everybody there is okay, but what an effort for Brown. I mean, he took flight into those chairs.
That's another thing about this gym that, I mean, we obviously are up to regulation and have all of our measurements and with our court and everything, but I think our audience is a little bit closer than normal than other gyms that these guys are used to playing in. I mean, the Knights are used to playing here, obviously, but you still want to just go after that ball no matter where it goes, and if it goes past that audience, you want to just jump over them so bad, but gotta keep everyone safe.
Basically, at that point, spectators become obstacles to jump over. Service ace for the Saints, or the Knights, excuse me. Diving effort there for Robinson. Knights now with a 5-point lead. 3 points away from completing the sweep. Another service ace. That makes service ace number 4. Waiting for the whistle. That serve just into the net. Now back to serve for the Saints is number 24, Hayden Kurikis. That hit a little far for Brown. But I want to correct myself. That last service ace for Tyler Schaefer makes service ace number 5 on the day for him. Leads both teams in that category. Set point, or excuse me, 2 points away. Now set point. Kyler Evans finding the gap on the inside. Christian Schaefer back to serve the Knights. 1 point away from taking down the number 12 team in the country. That serve just short.
Point to the Saints. Pena back to serve.
Now back to serve number 5, Diego Pena.
Match point.
That serve just short. And with that, the Knights win this battle of top 15 teams here in the nation at the barn. 3-0. Final set being 25-20. I mean, again, we expected to see some fantastic volleyball played here today, and we did, in fact, see that. But me, personally, I'm a little surprised to see the Knights came away with the sweep. I figured that after the first set, the Knights won, that Marymount would storm back, take the second, although they did storm back, just weren't able to complete that second set.
Yeah, both the second and the third sets were pretty close in score. But yeah, the Knights definitely swept it with no doubt. And I think it speaks again to their mental game and just the culture they have as this team. I mean, especially in that second set, you saw them be behind most of it, I guess half of the set. But they just stayed with it. They kept going no matter what happened, and they just stayed with it.
They absolutely did. And we have joining us here courtside, setter for Southern Virginia, Tyler Schaefer. Now, Tyler, you guys came to this game. You guys ranked 10th in the nation, Marymount number 12. The way you guys coming here today, you guys had a fantastic first set, but Marymount started to take the second set a little bit. What changed for you guys in that second set? Right. And I think it's safe to say one of the more exciting plays of the day was your brother Christian getting the one-handed block that ended up getting a very important point in that second set. But Tyler, for yourself, you ended the game with 30 assists with 5 service aces. You guys dominated the service aces category. Tell me how you guys were able to do that.
Serve, and I think that just drew everyone in. We had a great serving game. This whole week we've been really extra reps on serving, and I think that carried over. And even during warm-ups we had an extra minute of serving. Right. And I think that just carried over to the game, and we were able to capitalize on our abilities to put the ball away from the service line.
It's surprising how practice makes the difference, right? I mean, that's what coaches preach all the time. That's what you guys hear every day at practice. But congratulations on a fantastic top 15 victory, Tyler Schaefer. Go enjoy this one with your teammates.
Thank you. Thank you, Harvey.
And that was setter Tyler Schaefer here courtside after the Knights' victory over the number 12 team in the nation. And we got Krista Bianchine here. Middle block for Southern Virginia wanted to say a few words.
Hello, guys.
First off, congratulations, Krista Bianchine, on a fantastic game. You guys had a great game. You ended up with 7 kills today, beating the number 12 team in the nation. How do you guys feel right now?
We feel great. We feel this work done here and very happy. And I just want to wish my mom's her birthday today. She's in Brazil. Oi, mãe. Esse beijão é pra você. Parabéns. Que você tenha mais saúde. Te amo muito, viu? Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Happy birthday to Mama Bianchine.
Karina.
Bianchine. Awesome.
Thank you.
Enjoy it, Cristo. Once again, that's Krista Bianchine. Once again, wishing happy birthday to his mother. You love to see stuff like that. But with that, this has been Knights broadcasting of Southern Virginia men's volleyball. You can catch Southern Virginia in their next game. It'll be here at the barn on the 25th, actually tomorrow, against St. Andrews University here on Knights broadcasting. Marion, it's always great to commentate with you. Once again, I'm Dawson Weidrich. So long, good night, and go Knights.